Hi dear friends, today we are going to do a chapter named Kathmandu from class 9th NCERT book Beehive. And I must tell you that this is very important topic of this book and surely some questions are going to come from this chapter. So let's get started. Okay, so in this session we are going to learn the following topics. That means we are going to do these things. First of all, we will be going to see the introduction of Kathmandu. That means what kind of a place is Kathmandu uh, and what kind of weather is there and something like that. And after that, we will be seeing the brief introduction of author. And I think that you must be knowing the name of the chapter, name of the author, who is Vikram Seth. And after that, we are going to do the summary of this chapter. And then at the end, we will be doing frequently asked question. That means what kind of questions come from this chapter. Okay. So let's start this chapter. Introduction about Kathmandu. So friends, it is not related with the chapter, but for our information, I have written few points about Kathmandu. That means what kind of a place it is. And as you can see that Kathmandu is Nepal's capital. It is set in a valley surrounded by the Himalayan mountains. At the heart of the old city's maze-like alleys in Darbar Square. So there is a place named Darbar Square and it is a maze-like alley which becomes frenetic during Indra Jatra, and there is a yatra named Indra Yatra, and it's the time when all the things are so colorful and people are able to enjoy themselves. A religious festival featuring masked dances, and it is known for masked dances. In Kathmandu, the wet season is warm. And what kind of a weather is there in Kathmandu or in Nepal? So there is a warm weather, and at the same time there will be rain also. So due to this, a lot of humidity or muggy kind of weather would be there, and it is partly cloudy at that time, and the dry season is comfortable and mostly clear. So, if you are planning to go to Nepal, you want to visit Kathmandu and various other places of Nepal. So, this will be helpful, and at which time you should go, you can judge and you can understand what is the right time for you to go there. Okay, so now move on to the introduction of our author, and the name of author is Vikram Seth. And now few lines about Vikram Seth. He is a famous modern Indian writer who has written many novels, essays, and travelogues. Travelogues means one who writes about his traveling experiences. And in that ways, we can say that this chapter is a travelogue only because Seth gives his uh, travel experiences, tells everything. What did he like there? What did he not enjoyed there? So all those things are mentioned in this chapter. The present chapter is an extract from Vikram Seth's Heaven Lake. So, under this title Heaven Lake, many of the chapters, many of the stories are written by him, and this chapter, Kathmandu, is one of them. He has given a vivid description of the temples, markets, and people of Kathmandu in this chapter. So, you are going to see how uh, there is a use of imagery when we can imagine that place by using our senses, what kind of beauty is there in all the temples, markets, and people of Kathmandu through this chapter. So let's start this topic. So here I have made summary for you. Say that only 5 points I have written here, and I'm sure that this chapter will be clear to you. So the first point will be Pashupatinath temple. and we are going to see the activities in Pashupatinath temple. So what happens, Vikram said, once he went there, and what kind of view was there in this temple, he has written in this chapter, and we can see through his eyes. We can see this chapter or this temple through his eyes. Now, so what kind of activities are going on in this Pashupatinath temple? First point is, near the temple flows the holy river Bagmati, and holy river is there, just like we have river Ganga in India. So like this way, they have Bagmati, the holy river, near this Pashupatinath temple. One can see the corpse being cremated, and corpse, that means dead bodies, are also cremated at the banks of this river. Washermen remain busy in their work, and lot many washermen are there, and they are busy, and at the same time children, they are enjoy bathing. And overall, Vikram Seth writes that atmosphere of Pashupatinath temple is so exciting. It is full of noise and confusion. And for your information, I would like to tell you that author is not that kind of a person who uh, uh, likes the places where there is so much crowd, so much noise, and filled with people. Whereas he enjoys the stillness of the place. He likes uh, I would say he likes the silence in comparison to the atmosphere which is shown in the Pashupatinath temple. So this is our first point. And friends, question will generally come from this point or from this topic only when there is a question related with Pashupatinath temple or the environment of Pashupatinath temple. Now, second point, and that is Westerners not permitted to enter the temple, and which is the it is the fact and the reality of this chapter that he is sharing with us, with all the readers, that all the Westerners, all the peoples who belong to other countries, they are not they are not permitted to enter the temple. This only allows the Hindus to enter the Pashupatinath temple, and it is the reality that priest only allows the Hindus to enter the Pashupatinath temple, whereas saffron-dressed Westerners struggle for entrance, but they are not allowed. For example, any citizen of any other country who is not Hindu, who is Westerner, if he wears saffron dress, then also he has to struggle for entrance, but they are not allowed. Now comes our third point, and that is Bodhnath Stupa, and there is a vivid description of this Bodhnath Stupa in this chapter by Vikram Seth, and he talks about the environment of Bodhnath Stupa there in this third point. It has a sense of stillness, that means silence and no movement, animation is taking place in this stupa or in this place. It is not crowded at all. People don't make hue and cry there. Hue and cry means strong public protest about something. Uh, it is totally having contrast with the first point when we had discussed in detail. Uh, we have seen Pashupatinath temple when a lot many people are there. It is a crowded place, and havoc is created. Many hawkers, many people are there, and lot many noises, confusions are there. In that ways, it is totally different with Pashupatinath temple. Author calls it a heaven of quietness. And let me tell you what is the meaning of heaven. Heaven is a place where people or animals can be safe and rest. So in that ways, Vikram said liked this place a lot because he was that kind of a person. He is that kind of a person. The hawkers don't disturb the peaceful environment or atmosphere of the temple. Now let's move on to our fourth, and it is very important. It is the scene of Kathmandu Bazaar, and what kind of markets are there in Kathmandu we are going to see here. It is vivid, religious, and mercenary. So bazaars are vivid, religious, and mercenary. All the people are doing their work. Flower decorated deities along the narrow streets, and narrow streets are there. Small pathways are there, and we can see deities are placed there, and they are decorated with flowers. And friends, deities means goddess, gods and goddesses. Now, point number three is hawkers, flute sellers, fruit sellers, shops having Western cosmetics, film rolls, and chocolates. So these kind of things are happening there. Many of the sellers are there. They are selling their items. Many of the things are available. Film songs blare out from the radios, car horn and sounds. Bicycle bells ring in the busy streets. Now comes the last point, and it is about the Vikram Seth's opinion about flute music. And friends, this point is so important because many of the times this question comes: what is the opinion or views about flute music uh, by Vikram Seth? So he considers flute music as the most universal and most particular sound. So what happened that Vikram Seth, when he was there, he heard the flute music. A flute seller was there, and he was sorry, he was selling the flutes, and at the same time he was producing a very good sound or music. So he was thinking that all the flute music anywhere in any country has a most universal and most particular sound. The music of various kinds of flutes has a different definite similarity. Doesn't matter the seller is from which country. So the sound or the music produced by any seller is same. There is no culture which does not have its flute. So every country, every culture has its flute. Its motive force is living breath. So the one who is playing on flute, he is living the breath. He is enjoying the sense of taking breath. Hearing any flute seems to be drawn into the commonality of all mankind. And flute seems to be drawn into this fact that all the mankind, all the people are common and they are same irrespective of their country, their citizenship, their belongings. So everywhere this is same. Now a very important question comes because ultimately if we are doing any chapter, we are doing from the perspective of our exams, from the perspective of questions, what kind of questions are going to come from this chapter. So from that point of view, very important thing we are going to do. We are going to see few questions from this chapter, and I must say that if you prepare these four questions from this chapter, it is enough for you. And any question comes, I'm not saying that the same language will be coming in the exam, but the things will be same. That means the content will remain same. So anything comes, but if you prepare these four questions, you will be able to solve any question comes in exam. So question one is compare and contrast the atmosphere in and around the Pashupatinath temple and Bodhanath Stupa. So as we have done, we have seen the activities taking place in Pashupatinath temple. So as we have seen Bodhanath Stupa in few points here in this video. So you can compare and contrast the atmosphere of both the places. So this question number one is so important. Then Question number 2, how is the narrator affected by the flute, and what kind of flute was used by the flute seller? You can tell. What is the similarity between the sounds of flutes played in any country? We have seen in this video, so you can write your answer. Then question 3, what scenes are presented by Kathmandu Bazaar? We have seen that. What kind of sellers are there, what kind of things are there available in Kathmandu's market. So we can write our answer from these points. Now question number 4, why saffron dressed westerner are not permitted to enter the temple? And we have seen that only Hindus are allowed. That's why any other Westerner, any other people from any country are not allowed there. Only if they are Hindu, they are permitted to enter the temple. Okay, so these 4 questions are so important in this chapter, and that's why I have prepared 5 points for you so that the whole chapter will be clear to you through this summary. Okay, that's it from, and thank you for watching this video. And if you have liked this video, do share it with your friends, and if you haven't subscribed my channel yet, do subscribe it. And in comment section you can write what kind of problems you are facing in any of the classes like 9, 10, 11, 12 of subject English, and you can share it with me, and my next video can be on that topic. Okay, so it's a bye bye from my side. Okay, bye bye until we meet again. Thanks.